We're live. Welcome to the
Hey,
Band Batch Skeleton Crew Music Review. I'm Chrysanthe. You can call me Xanthe. This is James and Christina. Justin is intermittently, well, he's on fire watch at the moment, so he may join or may not. Yeah, we wish Justin the best. I don't know where this is playing from. Okay. Okay. Today we are reviewing the music sound, and there's no sea shanties, but there is a new lightsaber sound. In Skeleton Crew episode 7, we're going to be in so much trouble. So, yeah, just right off the bat, what did you all think of this episode? Like, could you rank it in the among the season?
uh, yeah, I loved it. Let me think. I don't think it's my favorite episode, like as a whole. But that's not because it's not. I didn't think it was good at what it was supposed to do, which was bring us closer to Atten and Jod's journey, and also to give us a peek inside this massive vault. I read something online where someone was like, this might be the biggest fictional display of wealth ever depicted on screen. Is what I read somewhere. It pretty wild. It opens up so many questions about which I assume will be answered next week. But yeah, I thought it was just continuing to bring us on this kind of adventure and journey of discovery that I've noted I've been a pretty big fan of. So yeah, good stuff. But I don't know if I would rank it like necessarily as my favorite. I think it served more as progressing the plot as a than like being like a contained fun adventure episode.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Christina?
Yeah, I agree with what James said about it. Having lots of cool stuff, but not being specifically just awesome. It's not like an awesome storyline in its own, but there's a couple key things that I always love seeing, like entering a planet with a storm and a barrier. I always love a good planet entrance
Mm-hmm.
issue kind of situation, and and it also has the parents and the droids and the supervisor, and it's got that whole the tease of the actual reveal uh, feel where we're
Mm.
gonna find out what happens with the who's actually in control of that and what's their deal. Maybe we're gonna find out next episode, and it's exciting to the questions are really built up right now. This is a stack of questions episode.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I think this was my least favorite episode by far. Um, it I
Ooh.
do think there were interesting musical moments, though, like in the approaching the planet. Like there were a few recalls to, I mean, at least one I feel recall to the original trilogy, and then there was another piece of music that came in that was reminiscent of the prequels and the sequels. But yeah, as we approached the planet, we got like dun 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 dun
Yeah,
dun dun. Not exactly that rhythm, but
Death Star
something
blowing up rhythm.
very
The
like martial
the
chords, like yeah,
mm-hmm.
from A New Hope.
Holst
Holst.
Holsty Mars moment
Yep, yep,
moment.
yep. Um, yeah. Okay. So we're kind of all across. We're kind of all over. Icarus says I think episode 5 and 7 are head to head best episodes so far. So
Mm.
yeah,
Hmm.
Hmm.
episode 5. Yeah, episode 5 was good. Yeah, I'm glad people liked it. Here's the thing.
I did find myself like I know that we're gonna find this out next episode, but I kept finding myself like as Jod was like bringing them down to the vault and and he seemed so I don't know, he seemed like he was happy with how things were progressing in his plan and what was happening. I was just thinking to myself, it's like, dude, you're trapped. What like why do you think that you're like in an advantageous position? Like you are surrounded by you're the I don't know, like it's not like it's like a in a pirate treasure hunt where you're in a secret location and you found the secret vault of the treasure and there's no one around you and you can just grab it and go. like he's in the heart of the city with like, and I guess he was able to easily pull off like saying, "Hey, I'm a, you know, I'm a, what was it? He was what was the word that
Emissary?
you emissary, right? He's like,
Yeah.
I'm an emissary. I just kept being like, dude, what's your plan here? Because these kids are just going to rat you out immediately, and I don't know. I guess we're gonna find that out. But I just kept being like, I wasn't finding out. I wasn't feeling like as they're bringing me along, being like, oh yeah, Jod is finally. Oh, he's like oh, they're really in danger of Jod getting away with all the money. I was like, dude, how Jod, how are you going to get out of here with the money? Because you're basically in. And I don't. It seemed far fetched that he's gonna pull this off. Which I don't know, but
Yeah. I was also confused. I was confused also about the acting in it. I thought the acting was intriguing, especially when Jod is in the vault and like just looking at the credits. Like he looks anguished almost until he starts like maniacally laughing and like,
yeah,
you know, being, I guess, feeling good about the credits. At first, it really feels like he's having to resist something, or it's like almost too much. He's like feeling overloaded or something.
right.
I just, yeah, that was, he had some very interesting facial expressions there.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of turned on a dime and he turned all his charm off for that whole
Yeah.
like that whole sequence. He just turned into just like evil, angry, hateable Jod. You know what I mean? Like he didn't have a flicker in his eye anymore. He turned, I don't know, kind of. Yeah, we'll talk about that whole scene where he kind of reveals himself to be like really not a great guy, you know, and the way he speaks to the kids and everything like that. So,
Yeah, I think for me the biggest element of the episode that didn't quite work was the reunion with the parents and the kids.
the parents.
Yeah, because I felt like the
It's
relationship
awkward.
between the parents and kids hadn't been earned.
Yeah,
Wasn't-
that's true.
Wasn't really established enough for the reunion to be very sweet. And I think it was maybe relying on the audience just being able to fill in the gaps, maybe project their own experiences with their parents or kids. But I think for the show, it wasn't. Yeah, like I don't know much about their relationships and if they're missing each other. Like the kids haven't really been throughout. Like I miss my mom or anything. So like. I don't know.
Yeah. And I think that's also like I think it's also like I think like uneven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is like I think we saw Wim and his dad, and there is like some established relationship there that is obviously like strained and not ideal, and in that way like it's really like it's on the dad to kind of show like some type of like relief that his son is here, and then he apologizes for it. I'm not sure how much I bought the way that was acted out. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but we didn't really get to see too much about Fern and her parents,
Mm-hmm.
too much, and definitely not enough of Neil and his parents.
Right. We just know that he has siblings, and
yeah.
they kind of tried to tug on our heartstrings there, but it was like it wasn't really that effective, and Neil couldn't really emote very much.
Yeah, that's true.
His face,
And yeah, and then KB, we didn't really get to see
don't
KB
know.
interact with her parents at all before they leave.
Yeah,
right?
we don't know what
we
their
meet her
relationship's
parents.
like.
Yeah, I agree. They didn't do a good job at necessarily establishing the relationship with the parents to any of those kids before they left. And also the consequence of it being a series and not a movie is that you kind of forget that over many weeks of since they've been so it maybe doesn't hit as home. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway,
Yeah.
I think it's also made more awkward, the reunion, because we did just see Jod put on all of these different personality hats, I guess. So we're already suspicious. We're not in a trustful mood by the time that moment of the episode comes. We're in a suspicious mood where we're unsure of what relationships are really the case. And I do think that Jod, it's really strange, the acting, but at the same time, maybe it's kind of doing, I mean, I can give him the benefit of the doubt, that's an option, to think that, okay, maybe he has just different, vastly different parts of himself that are all in there. He's got his, like, maybe Jedi thing, he's got his, um, like I still think that he's kind of like Wim, where there's a part of him that's just like a really sweet little dreamer that has just been like crushed and hungry and sad and fighting for crumbs for so long that he also developed the mean, nasty side of him. Um, it's interesting. It's like, and I guess the other thing that comes to mind is just past versions of ourselves. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's like even if you are a really nice, good person, you could have a version of you that's was not as nice and good, and it's probably not that hard to draw on it. I don't know, like if you choose to. So,
Yeah. I'm going to read some comments. It felt like a more plot-focused episode compared to a previous ones that had more character development. Definitely. Here we have money to ship to barrier to goodbye. Is that what that is? But I think Jot is greedy and he wants 1138 wallets of money. Yes, yes. And then I'm
Oh,
gonna
by the way, did you check that? Did everybody
yeah,
catch that?
yeah. They said 1139 total or
Yeah.
something.
A little wink to
Little.
1138.
So he needs to come back a couple times. And then Matthew says, I think Jod has been losing as a pirate captain for such a long time, coming close to death, that it was a relief to finally succeed. Also, pure greed coming forward. Yeah, it strikes me that maybe part of him felt that he was coming back into himself, you know, a part of himself that he missed or something. Hi, Justin. Yeah, please
We
stay
miss you,
safe from the
Justin. We're
fire.
thinking about you. Stay safe. We love you.
I bought the Kids and Parents reunion. I think issues between parents and kids become very minor after facing life and death. Um, I'm glad that worked. Okay, so issues between parents and kids definitely become minor after facing life and death. But I actually didn't. I, I think Wim being like, oh, but we're still gonna have to go. I'm still gonna have to go back and take my exams or whatever he said, made it hard for me to feel that Wim is feeling how minor that issue is after facing life and death. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's very real that the kids maybe feel varying degrees of happy about going home and going back to their life, and maybe in their strict parents, at least Fern and Wim. You know, Fern's mom wants her to be an overachiever and everything, um, but yeah, I kind of wanted to see them more excited to return to safety, even if that meant having to take exams or something. But I don't know. Could they have made those dataries actual props in his shower? What are you talking?
Yeah, what is he talking about?
What are you talking about, Justin?
Could they have made
Those
those
dataries.
dataries actual props in his shower? I recognize mostly all the words that he uses in that sentence. I'm not sure what they all mean together.
is it the shower when he's maniacally laughing and showering the dataries upon himself?
Oh,
Are
Is that
da-
the
maybe
shower?
are dataries
the credits. Yeah, yeah.
the credits? Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever heard that word used before.
I
Um,
Speaking of which, I
It's
really
only
liked the
used.
sound of them.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
dataries are only
very
used on Ad Atten. That's what they call them.
Just let some
very
dataries shower over his head.
ASMR. I think the sound of those things showering and falling was very
Oh, it's so
nice.
good.
It kind of feels like I don't know if you've ever like dumped out like you ever dump out like Legos or like dominoes when you were kids? Or you ever had like a big toy chest when you were a kid and you just like dump it? I used to love doing that. It just like I think something very sensory and very like fun about just like dumping all of my Legos on the floors.
Yep.
Um,
I
was
Yeah, I
got
can't
you.
very
believe that
satisfying.
just touching one resulted in that shower.
Oh, it was so
Uh,
smooth. Oh man, I wrote "Ooh ASMR Datary Dominoes," which is basically what you just said.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh God, it was so, and like just the look, like they looked like they were really lightweight, and um, the stackableness, like the fact that they tumbled so quickly makes me wonder how they probably are hard to carry around in a wallet or something. Because you can stack quarters pretty well, and they hold. But the dataries are just like they're just slick. Um, there's an interview where they
Pretty
talk
good
about the dataries being one
anti-theft.
of the first sounds they designed for
That's
the
true.
show. Wait, what'd you say?
It's a good anti-theft thing because if you
Oh,
try to pick
true,
them up, they just fall everywhere.
Right.
That could be a thing.
true, true. Okay, that's what the shower was. Okay, good. Um, okay, but good to know,
Jenga.
AurekFonts, that the dataries were one of the first sounds they designed for the show. Nice. Is this the
That's
second time we've
interesting.
seen? Is this only the second time we've seen like a big vault after Andor, like with a lot of money in it? In Andor, we
Yeah.
saw a vault with money that looked. It was more like gold bars or something. Um,
Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, I think so, with the actual
Yeah.
money in it for
Heavy,
sure.
dangerous gold bars that you don't want
yeah.
falling on you.
Yep. Um, let's see. The money falling down on Jod were CGI instead of physical props. Okay. Well, they did a good job with the sound of it. They used dataries. Neil's mom said that Neil's brother had a shiny new datarie after losing one of his teeth. Right. Mm-hmm. I love the sound of dumping Legos,
But
Jenga.
all he wanted was
So Elephant
Neil.
Tooth Fairy is a thing in Star Wars now. Elephant Tooth Fairy. Um, yeah, I think we need some merch with Elephant Tooth Fairy on it.
The elephant tooth fairy plushie, and we need to bring back the thrushie.
I know. I know.
I'm still
Um,
I'm still very confused about. I mean, again, I think you just gotta wait to find out. But I'm just curious what y'all think is like. It's apparently very. These are old Republic credits, correct?
hmm I mean,
Right.
maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Well, somebody said that, or like in the beginning, like at that pirate on like episode 2 or so, when they went to
Okay.
the outpost, the pirate outpost, and they're like, where did you get old Republic credits or something, right? Didn't someone say that, right?
I think a
Um,
good, just in like how you're saying it, it's not because you know how we have New Republic, capital N, capital R, and we
hmm
have High Republic, capital H, capital R. This is just old lowercase, like the old
Uh
capital
huh.
R.
Uh
So,
huh.
so it's just the Republic that was before. It's not like Old Republic.
you
It's
think
like
Yeah.
so?
Old Republic credits. I think
Okay,
so. I don't think it was ever called Old Republic.
got it. I thought that I saw in the subtitles it's spelled with a capital O, but
Am I mistaken about that? I could
well,
really be
yeah. Either way, it's like something that's rare. I guess is
yeah.
what I was wondering because it was very clear
Yes.
that they like never see these. But there's like a mint, and there's apparently like an enterprise in which people are actively coming down past this barrier to extract money and bring them out. Right? The droids do not seem at all like surprised by an emissary arriving to take money out. So it's like, what's the deal? Is this something that's happening on a regular basis? And yeah, I don't get it. I don't get like, and why? I don't know. And it's also like, isn't it also? It's like, if I had like a giant like warehouse full of Prussian francs, like those are potentially I could sell them to a museum, but they're not going to like get me very far in terms of like using them and as actual currency. So I'm just like I'm still trying to suss out like the value of all these of the things, who's using them, what's the deal, or is it just like kid show logic where it's like big thing of gold, these things people want these things and just
Well,
don't
if you
think any
have
more
cool
about
coins,
that.
maybe you're not trying to use them for currency, but maybe you're trying to sell them as collector's items.
It's
I don't
just
know.
it's like finding a giant warehouse full of Funko Pops or something. Um, yeah, I don't know. I got a lot of questions about the economy of Atten and why they're making all this money and who's using them for what. So very 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 interested.
Want to get into some
And
music? Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
okay. Um, also, Qui-Gon called them Dataris. That's true.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
really?
Tatars.
The lightsaber looks like High Republic, so it's 200 to 300 years old. I think At-Aten would be isolated for that time, too. Um, anyway, I have a music example.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I want to
Okay.
hear it.
Oh, by the way, I just had a confirmation from episode 2 in
Mhm.
14 minutes. It's indeed spelled Old Republic with a capital O. It said, where did you get an Old Republic
Man.
credit? And it's capital O, capital R.
Oh, so James is right.
So, I don't know.
Well,
Who
I
knows?
concede, mostly.
Well, I mean, maybe it's just might be a subtitling thing, but you know.
Okay. I'm going to play it first on violin because it is on strings, but then I'll play it on piano because there's a distinct harmony. I'm just realizing that I transcribed that wrong, but that's okay. I remember it. Okay.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
It's nice and creeping.
Mm-hmm. I guess I should do my. By the way, this is the audio quiz portion of the show. Um, for anyone new here, this is where we play our recreations of the music from the show. Usually, if Justin's here, he also plays recreations of sounds, and we try to guess or remember where we heard it. So, chat is welcome to play along. See if you can recognize where these examples come from. Icarus, it is not when flying into the green barrier.
Interesting.
Is it related to the vault?
No.
Interesting. Yeah, that was going to be my guess. Was descending into the vault. That sounds. The quality of the music sounds like something is descending or falling or um, something along those lines.
Yeah, it's not a bad
Um,
guess. It's way earlier in the episode.
okay, play it. Can you play it again?
Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, and you're playing it very. I should say, like the way that you're playing it is, um, it's you have like a somewhat of a decrescendo in the way that you're playing it. You're playing it like relatively like mezzo area in terms of your dynamic
Yeah,
range. So I'm guessing that's kind of how it is in the app. Okay,
pretty much.
so it's not like a big stringy part or a big like orchestral.
Yeah, it's more of like a furtive sounding thing.
A
Got
tractor
it.
beam isn't involved, is it?
No? Okay, wait. We have more guesses. Jod's threatening speech to the kids? No. In the forest with parents? Yes.
Oh, duh.
Oh,
That makes so much
this is
sense.
right in the beginning.
Mm-hmm. This is right at the
That's
beginning.
good forest parent creeping music. And when they're like afraid of being caught and they keep hearing a sound, yeah, it really sets that up for a cute scare.
Yeah, there's a lot in the here. There's a lot happening musically in the forest with the parents. This is the very first thing we hear when the episode starts. Like when the episode starts proper, like after the after the intro and stuff.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. And specifically the camera is bringing us down into the forest where they are, right?
Yeah.
Or into the landscape. So that kind of goes with that descending sound. It kind of reminds me of the beginning of a lot of the Star Wars movies, where it has um, like the quality of the strings remind me of like after the crawl.
Uh huh. Yeah, totally.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yep.
And I'm not sure if the melodies are doing the same thing, but it reminds me of that moment where it's like, the camera is literally typically panning somewhere in a lot of the different Star Wars movies, like the camera moves to something
Yeah.
happening after the crawl in space. And there's usually some type of like kind of falling, kind of, relaxing, not relaxing in a relaxing way, but like the energy is relaxing, from the bombastic crawl, if you will.
Yeah, that's a good observation. It does, the quality of it does kind of sound like that. And we hear it at 127. Bill says, nothing linked to the government / bad guys motif from ET. Yeah, sounds like more generic mystery / suspense music.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want another one, or does someone else want to offer one?
I am not equipped where I am right now in Palm Springs to offer my own, but I'm here to guess.
Sounds good.
What do
Yeah.
we
I'm
think
also
about that?
fully unequipped.
What do we think about that first scene in the parents and their I should say they're both teamwork, but also they're like, yeah. I'm also curious at like what is happening where they can't like get like what is that thing that they have, right?
Yeah.
Like they somehow have a thing that can go out into space and send a message. Which, if that kind of thing is not allowed, then how do they have it? Like, and what
You
would
know
you
who
normally
definitely
use
knows what
that?
that is?
Who?
Would you say?
Elzar Man totally knows what that is.
Oh,
I feel like
really?
in the High Republic novels, that's one of his specialties is like super ancient tech that you need to send like secret messages with. Like that's 100% what he just thought I'd let you know. Yeah, Elzar Man, no, notoriously, or not notoriously, but successfully made like several weird communication devices like that to try to get through
Interesting.
other similar barriers.
So you think it's possible they
Of the
made that
Nile.
thing to send that out?
Yeah, I
I
think
I mean, what
mean,
so.
else would they have one of those things for? If you're
but I
literally
mean,
not
also,
allowed to like communicate beyond the barrier, why do they have a thing that seemingly does only that?
well, I mean, okay, isn't Fern's mom kind of like high up? She might
That's
know
true.
I think
certain security things.
I think Fern's mom only contributed the codes. I think KB's parents have some sort of technical skills. And then I don't know what's
Mm,
going on with Neil's parents, but they seem to have some technical skills too. Um, but yeah,
uh,
it's also interesting that like Neil's Neil Neil's parents have a lot of go get it action, but their body makeup makes them slower. So or
mm,
like it's like they seem to be the ones who are immediately ready to take action in each kind of thing. They take a lot of
yeah.
initiative.
Hmm.
So that was like a cute but sad, poignant moment when Neil's mom is the first one to grab the device and run,
Mm-hmm.
but like
That was
doesn't
sweet.
even, yeah.
But isn't exactly equipped to do that, you know? Um,
Exactly, and I think it follows the theme of the previous episode about what bodies are equipped to do differently and how like intention can vary from, yeah, like your intention has to filter through your body. So if you're KB and you want to climb, but your ogs are corroded, you can't.
Mm-hmm.
that makes sense.
Matthew
Okay,
says
well,
that's
that
why
all
the
makes
parents all
sense.
had different pieces that no one would be able to own everything.
Mm.
Ah,
Mm-mm-mm.
they also got the USB hacking device from somewhere.
And they obviously build their own cars and vehicles and stuff. That was one of the like Wim's got a like car that he's always working on. KB and Fern have their car that they're working on. And
They all
Okay,
seem to be in the loop in a way that I guess I didn't foresee on like what the situation is at. Like they're like, oh, we were going to tell you when you got older what's going on. So it seems like they're like, I guess I was kind of assuming there was like some type of like brainwashing happening amongst the whole planet to keep everybody like out of the loop. But it kind of seems like the parents kind of know what's going on to a certain extent. Maybe not, but that's kind of the impression that I got. In which case they know that they have to like actively build a machine to like communicate outside to and it also like they knew not to like they knew to make sure the kids know to not tell people that where they're from, which I found was funny. Where like Jod was like, "Oh, too late,"
Yeah.
Okay, so there was another piece of music at the beginning. I guess I kind of just gave away where it is, but no, but it's 3 times during this episode that
Mm-hmm.
we haven't heard since the first episode, and
Really?
I feel, yeah, I think it's really interesting. Um,
Hmm.
I guess it was on flute, but
Mm.
and then just like, oh, and then another version of it was. On brass.
Mm.
Haven't heard it
It
since the
pulls
first
the
episode.
heartstrings.
But what do you all think it's associated with? Love Neil's mom. I get the feeling that they know the planet is. Okay, James is calling back.
Supervisor?
Sorry.
Or not supervisor. It couldn't be when the droids are being helpful, but not, surely. Could it?
I mean, one of them is. I mean, I kind of already gave it away that it's at the beginning. Yeah, so the first time we hear that is when they're trying to send the message, and then like a minute later, it's when they're running away from the safety droid.
What was it in the first episode?
So in the first episode, it's when the kids are starting to uncover what's in the hatch, or though the maybe it's starting to turn on or take off, and Wim's dad has a flashlight and is like looking at the site, and yeah, it's when Wim's dad enters the scene. So this whole time I've been like, was that? I don't know what that was, and it didn't come up again. But then when it came up again 3 times in this episode, I was like, oh, it's associated with the parents
Ah,
trying to help, or the parents trying to figure out where their kids are.
the parents struggle. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another interesting version of it is on oboe, but
Yeah, there's a lot of woodwinds going on.
sorry.
Oh, right. The one
I
that's
guess that's what I said yesterday.
Yeah,
I was like,
we just
all
I
I
was just thinking
all
that
I kept
too.
hearing was
that's from that's from Wicked.
You know what's funny? Yeah.
anyone know where we hear that? I think it's like a version of the parents to the rescue, the theme, but it's obviously more lyrical and pretty, major sounding.
Is it when they? This is when they're when they're listening to the broadcast.
No, but that's a good guess.
Okay.
Something similar.
Is it when they reunite at the end of
Yes.
the episode? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. I feel like once again, right when they're listening to the broadcast, there's something kind of similar. I feel like happening when that was happening.
Okay, maybe. Let me go back and check. When are they listening to the broadcast? Okay, it's about 12:55. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's another there's like another octave jump like that.
Oh no, you're right.
Um,
It's at 14:11.
yeah.
Yep.
Um, So there's little. It's not the full like quote, but it feels something. It feels like
Yes.
intentionally similar.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. And it is the major version. Yep.
Mm.
The unlimited version.
Hmm?
Yep. Nice. Okay. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a lot of comments. Matthew says, there's no way to send a message beyond the barrier, so they created something that could fly up past the barrier and send a message. I thought it was a great moment of the parents coming together. I also liked that. Like, overall, I liked seeing the parents, and I kind of wish we got more of them. Love Neil's mom. I get the feeling that they know the planet is the Republic Mint and that it's hidden for security, but they probably have no idea of the wider state of the galaxy. Okay, what's this? Son, you're an adult now. We have to talk. Dad, I know about sex. Our planet is isolated, and we have a mint, and there was a galactic war, and the Republic fell.
Yeah.
Well, we could cross over. Yes. When the parents meet the kid. Yeah, okay. You all were right. Yep. The music is more dramatic when the broadcast is playing. Yeah, it is at the beginning, but then when it starts, like the broadcast is kind of long, so at about 14:11, it does turn into that sweet moment. Yeah.
I have to say that they're like you can never go wrong in my or it's very hard to go wrong in my opinion if you're making a show about trying to overcome an oppressive conspiracy situation. I think there's just something like baked into modern culture that we like identify so viscerally with that experience. I think maybe it's because we all kind of feel like we're like living in a rat race ourselves, and like we just want to break through we all kind of feel like there's like a feeling of like I don't know, like that there's like some type of a great agenda all working against the interests of the human race, no matter who you are. And I think it was an interesting addition to this show. Like it could have just been like, kids go escape a pirate, go escape, get lost from home, and then have to learn some things to get back to their parents. But they added this like weird, eerie, spooky element to like nefarious element about like what their home planet is actually like. That kind of is really intriguing. And then you also get to see the parents kind of like do a middle finger to the man as well. It reminds me a little bit of Severance, which we talked about recently, which is like there's like some kind of thing that you're like exploring like what that is, and like the main characters are kind of entrenched with different motivations that you're understanding, like, and they're also at like different levels of how in the know they are about everything. So anyway, I happen to really like a good old conspiracy movie like that, or a show like that, like Severance, The Matrix, like, these types of tales to me, I think are very satisfying to watch, especially when there's a breakthrough from the oppressive thing, So watching the parents all come through to do that, it was very good for me to see.
Nice. Okay, I have another example. This is on brass. Low brass, I think strings unison too. Okay.
Very familiar, but I can't think of it. Let me think.
Yeah, I think this is when Jod. This is like right after Jod kills Brutus, right? And like is walking down the thing to be like, let's go into Adadin or something like that, right? Isn't it somewhere around there, maybe?
No, but the cast of characters is somewhat similar. It definitely is
I'm
the
gonna
pirate
say
side of
when
things.
Jod slices up Shmi's head.
No, but that is very sad.
It is sad. Yeah.
The
I know
squid
Or
there
when the
was,
pilot.
big
like-
hole opens. And they go
Say
in
it
the
again?
big. They go in the tunnel hole thing. I don't know.
Oh, I remember now.
It is the squid pilot You are correct.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
Brutus's
Oh,
volunteer Glurb. He
Yeah.
goes out
he's
to
the one
test the
who
safety of the
wanted to have a
barrier.
farm on. He's the one who wanted to have a farm, an ocean farm,
Yeah,
or
that's
like
right.
a. So
Hmm.
that's sad.
And he
Poor
dies.
thing. Poor squid pilot.
Hmm. Yeah, he's a Corin, I believe. Um,
Yeah.
7:35ish. Is that what I wrote? Yep, exactly. Um, Pirates theme when their ship first shows up. Yeah, we got a lot of Pirates theme here, and we get like both versions of the Pirates theme. We get like the main Pirates theme, which is like, but then we also get the Jod pirate theme, which is no more kelp farm.
Love that. I love that brass sound, Sandy, by the way,
Oh, it's good.
that
It's
you've
super
got.
realistic.
Really, truly.
Yeah.
You know what I love? I love that hip hop producers of the mid 2000s took that brass sound, and I like that they were just like, good enough, put it on the track. Like Lil Wayne and like who are some other groups that had that like brass, like crappy brass sound of the
Can you hum
2000s? That was
a
like all
single
the
riff?
rage.
Wait, like what's one of the riffs?
Oh, that's why you thought of that. It's a lot like Let the Beat Build. The
Okay,
sample.
yeah,
It's a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
Ba,
ever
ba,
if you ever
ba.
listened to this song "Gangsta Shit" by Lil Wayne? It's pretty much that exact brass sound. If you look it
Sorry,
up.
I got a request to turn up the brass.
Turn up the
So
brass. That's good.
okay, this is funny. Yeah, those keyboard horns, pretty funny. There's a comment here that actually is a
There you
spoiler
go.
for something, but you wouldn't. Don't worry about it. O's. This theme sounds extraordinarily similar to the one from Michael Giacchino's score for Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. I'm currently going through Mission Impossible for the first time, as I mentioned last week. Have made it through the first 3 movies. Next one is number 4, and I was supposed to. I've been trying to not know who the composers are, but don't feel bad. It's totally fine. I just think it's funny that this movie that came out like decades ago just happens to be something that I'm going to see soon. Okay,
That's cool.
4 minutes. Oh yes, Timberlake. I don't remember
Yeah,
how
pretty
it
much.
goes, but I totally remember that brass is in it. Yes, adverb and it's smooth jazz. Okay, some guy had a great design with a lot of tentacles that we cut off likely in battle. Yeah. Okay, I have another one.
Yeah, you're our entertainment source for today's Andy. So
Hmm.
This will do. It's bass. Okay, this is better.
It's very quiet.
The Godfather.
yeah, it sounds like for a second like bum
Oh,
ba da
yeah.
da da da
No, you're
da.
right.
Just
Oh yeah, it does sound like
very.
that.
I don't. I don't know. This does not sound familiar. Um,
I think it's
it's
hard to
definitely
hear because it's so low.
it's definitely pirate related.
It is.
Hmm. I don't
Has
think
someone just been killed?
it's got a little of the Dies Irae bits in it. Um, don't know. We need guesses in the chat is what we need.
Yeah.
And is it related to the communications situation?
Not exactly.
Hmm. Hmm. Wolfman getting shot. Oh, is that no? Is that right? I don't think so. Because that's like a big brassy moment when Wolfman gets shot. That's a big like minor chord being played on like the low brass, like brrrr, like that. So I don't think it's
It
that.
is not getting shot.
Hey, dude, Brutus. Um, give us a hint. Give us a hint, Xanthi.
Okay.
It, does it have to do with the censor officer?
No.
No.
The kids are in the scene.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's like it's when Jod is uh it's like right before is it like right before 33 like
No. Oh, third.
like
Okay, sorry. I thought you meant timestamp 33 and 3.
no, is it like right before 33 like snaps on him and like it's like like in that little scene, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Charles monologue. It's not his name. Yep. It is when Jod takes the kids hostage. He's like, chain him up.
Man,
Yeah.
33 saying like that close enough scene was awesome. It was so funny.
Counterpoint.
Yeah.
I kind of okay. I'm glad that the kids had some backup. I also don't really like when droids overstep their protocol.
But I think the deal is with a pirate droid is that he doesn't really have like
Okay.
protocol, right?
Maybe.
Like
Okay, so maybe it's not protocol, but maybe he's just trying to live by the pirate's code. And in which case, that's fine. I
yeah,
can
I
live with
think
that.
that's his deal. Is like the Pirates Cove is basically like when it comes down to it, whoever you want to be loyal to, you just do that. You know, that's kind of like being a pirate. It's like yeah, there's codes. What is it? It's like from Pirates of the Caribbean where Captain Barbossa says he's like the pirates code is more. What does he say? He's like they're more like guidelines or something like that. There's like a quote where Barbossa basically is like they're like what about the code and he's like those be guidelines or something. So I think that's the point of the Pirates Code is that the codes are there in theory, but the point of being a pirate is to break the rules, right? Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, so Icarus says droids have agency in Star Wars. We're not going to get into a long discussion about this. James, you were frozen in a funny position.
I know.
But I do think they're like I'm thinking of Rise of Skywalker with 3PO unable to violate his protocol and just read the Sith language out loud, translate what was on the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember thinking that was a very delightful aspect of his character. But I do think might be more of a situation where he is acting more just like a person who is following the Pirates Code. Okay, droids follow the rules. The longer they have been around, and SM-33 is very old. Loved 33's punch, but it's funny that Jod put on his helmet just to be punched. Okay, I have another one. I'll do it on violin first. Sorry, we don't have to go this high. And I'll do it on piano so you can get some chords.
Okay, yeah, that'd be helpful. Hmm. Oh yeah.
Sorry. What am I doing? Just some planing diminish stuff. But I think pay attention to the like. I think the striking parts are like the trills here, the half step trills.
Right.
Yeah. They kind of remind me of something of like Cloud City or something.
Yeah.
Anyone have
You know
guesses?
what? Okay. So this happens. It might not be the spot you're talking about, but it happens again in a grandiose way when they're flying, when they're arriving, when they're flying in, when the ship is coming in at around like 23 minute 52 or so.
Yep, that's exactly the spot I'm thinking of.
Okay. Interesting. I don't really like hear. This is just shows like what a string player hears and what I hear. I don't really
Mm.
hear those I don't hear those trills as like I don't know if I would have like immediately caught those as trills when I'm listening to them.
Oh, interesting.
Um, like I'm not hearing like boom. I'm just hearing bum 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 bum. I'm not really like hearing the trill when I listen to that spot. But maybe that's just my
Are you sure?
like.
Listen again. I think the second one is more obvious.
Okay, yeah, the second one is way more obvious. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think the first one I didn't really catch
Yeah,
as
it's
the
much more
trill.
subtle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Flying
I
in.
like that.
Hey,
I like.
but we skipped a moment. I don't know
Uh-huh.
if do you have any other examples that are happening prior to that point?
Ooh, no. Well, unless I have something just written in my notes but not transcribed.
Okay,
Tell
we'll
me
talk
what
about it
part
then.
you're thinking of.
Well, what do y'all think about that moment when we see Atten for the first time, like beyond the barrier? Do you hear what was kind of?
Okay, wait. There's something actually. Okay, there's another cool bit of music there. What's timestamp did we see Ad Atten for the first time?
Oh, let me see. It's like that beautiful,
Maybe
like
19-ish.
yeah, something like that. Yeah, 1907, and
19.
no, sorry, 18. Sorry, it's like 19. Right where Christina said like 1859.
Oh, okay. Where we get the Skeleton Crew main theme. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So that's cool, but it's like super stripped down.
yeah. It's just basically
Yeah.
like Celeste, I think,
Celeste or
right?
something.
And
Yeah.
what I love about that, yeah. What were your thoughts about that choice there?
Chat, feel free to weigh in. This would be like right at 1857.
I guess what comes to mind for me is that it is generally the sound of like childlike wonder or uncomplicated wonder and
Right.
curiosity and the mysteries of the galaxy that we can all connect to at any age.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely found like this is the kids' theme. It's being played on what sounds like a child's instrument, like a nursery rhyme almost. It's almost like they're back in the cradle again.
Hmm.
Like it felt like very much like look at home amongst all this chaos and scariness. Like look at that's our home when we're back.
And then the cello,
And
and then a solo cello joins in. It's just
yes, it
very like,
does.
Mm, it's
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's the most, like, that part was probably more impactful to me than the parents' reunion. I think just like seeing their planet and having
Yeah.
that
And you don't
just,
you don't you don't think it's a viola? You think it's a cello, by the way?
yeah, it's a cello.
Okay, I'll trust you.
I also
Uh,
wondered.
Um,
Sorry.
yeah, it's got that beefy quality to the sound, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds very music box like initially. Yep.
music
Hmm.
box, yeah, I
Totally.
loved that moment. I love that
Hmm.
moment.
Yep.
I think you know what? Okay, I'll say this. Shows like this, and Andor, and Mandalorian, and hell, even Boba Fett, I think really demonstrate how disappointed I was with the music with Obi-Wan, because I think this theme, just like the qualities and the versatility of this theme, um, and like it's just the memorability of this theme, I think highlight the strength of this score to this show. Is like, it can be an adventure theme, it can be a kind of contemplative theme, it could be it can be used in all these ways, and you immediately, it also doesn't overstay its welcome either, in my opinion. And I just think the composer is using it really well, and it's also memorable. Like, we can all sing it. I don't know, it's just very well written, and there's nothing like that, and that sticks out in my memory. Like, I don't think I can sing any of the music from Obi-Wan. Like,
Not
for
even
you,
the main
none
theme?
of it. How's it go?
Not the most singable.
I don't know. The one John
No.
Williams wrote.
That is more.
Okay. Sorry.
That's not very singable.
Yeah, so I
Look
just think,
here.
I mean, obviously the value of a score isn't just about how singable it is, of course. I mean, I think that's kind of a pedestrian way to view it, but at the same time, I think that it can't be understated that, like, I think just leaving imprint in all of our minds as Star Wars fans, I think this show is, like, in my opinion, like, I can sing this theme anytime I want. I can dig it out of that memory, and I think it's being very effectively used throughout the show. It's just very well scored. So
Yeah. I'm curious how many people are on Mick Giacchino's team and what their process is like. Because I get the feeling that he didn't write every single cue. I don't know why I have that feeling. It's just because it's normal. That's the default. Yeah, but okay, there is another theme that happens before the next one that I was going to do, and we haven't heard it since episode 2. Anyone remember either where it happens in this episode or where it happens in episode 2?
So I think this is the moment where Jod is coming down the pirates are coming down the I don't know what you call that, the plank of their this is like 12 something like that.
Wait, let me see if it also happens there.
Yeah, 1207 or something. No, maybe.
Let me see. I don't have that one written down, but maybe.
Maybe not.
Okay, I don't.
Mixing it up somewhere.
Yeah, I don't think there, but we do hear it a lot, kind of in that section. Docking at Pirate Island in episode 2. Yes, that is where we hear it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I was actually surprised to see it come back, but it worked really well, and it happened quite a bit throughout, I guess from 9:59 throughout, I don't know, 12 or 12 something, which is when they're caught in the tractor beam. I think that's when it starts to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good old tractor.
Were they caught in a
beam.
tractor beam to Port Borgo, actually? When they were going into the pirate island, did they go via tractor beam?
I don't remember.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
don't think so.
No?
Okay. But yeah, it's, planing, parallel fourths, a very chromatic.
I don't think it was a tractor beam that they were experiencing on the pirate island. I think it was autopilot, and then they decided to regular pilot. So that does imply, where was tack running sending his ship with public credits somewhere. It's interesting.
Yeah. And then we continue to hear that when Brutus is warning Jod that he's going to kill him, whether or not they find the treasure, and Jod is saying that the crew loves me. And then they start to walk out on the gangplank to order the kids to surrender. So maybe it did last all the way until there. Autopilot. That's funny. Okay. Here's another one. These are tremoloing strings. Actually, I think I have a tremolo string pad here. Tremolo orchestra. That just sounds really bad. Okay. It really doesn't sound the same without the without the tremolo. It's like. But with like a planing major 10th underneath. James is like, maybe if I leave, I won't have to answer. It's
I don't
tense.
have a good guess.
It is a tense moment. Anyone in chat have a guess? I'm re-listening to it. It's very soft. It is on strings. This show does a lot of like stepwisely chromatic movement. I don't know what to make of it, but it is just it seems like a kind of a signature thing of this show. One more time, Justin says. Okay, these are tremolo strings and it's soft. Jod about to be pushed out of the airlock? Nope. It's later. I will give the answer, but I also want James to hear the answer. Okay. It is as Jod and the kids are descending the gangplank toward the end at 24:37. It's such an unsettling scene, and the music sounds really unsettling there too. It's like yay, they're here, and then it's like this guy is escorting the kids. Is that normal?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, this show really does have a lot of the, stepwise chromatic stuff and a lot of planing melodic lines where you have two voices moving the same direction by the same interval, staying, parallel movement. And I
This
don't know if that's
moment
just a
builds up a
Jakina
little bit
thing.
of the humor.
How so?
I'm sorry. Like, I feel like the moment when the droid says, "You must be the visiting Republic emissary," is a little bit dark humor. Uh, I feel like this suspension of this suspenseful situation builds that, yeah, makes that moment ripe for a dark chuckle.
Yeah. I I think it also shows like how the droids on At-Aten are really not necessarily the best protectors of the planet. Like, how is someone like Jod gonna just be able to weasel his way into like going down to the vault? And the customary way that they welcome emissaries is by taking them to the vault to like do some protocols. That was a little bit. I don't really quite understand what that was all about. Like, why would an
Yeah.
emissary, yeah, proceed directly to the mint to begin offloading procedures? I mean, I think maybe we can just chalk that up to like kid logic in the show, rather than having Jod have to break into the vault. He's just straight up taken there. That certainly cuts down on, I don't know, cuts down on the time it would take to get him down there. Well, Jod had the At-Aten ship. He must be the emissary. Sure. Oh, another thing I thought was interesting was how they all immediately recognized the At-Aten ship, even though it had molted. So maybe its inside shell, like, is the ship that people know in their memories. I don't know.
Yeah, that begs the question, are there regular offloading of credits? And if so, how are there so many stored up? And this has been happening for hundreds of years. Yeah, it's questionable. What type of ship is that? I meant to look that up. Does anyone know what type of ship the inner onyx cinder is? Is it like a
It is a medium-sized starship, um, used for credit chip transportation in a Republic mint. I mean, I guess that explained. I didn't realize it was like for the purposes of transporting credit chips. I did not realize that. Okay. So that does make a little bit more sense. Okay. Yeah. People in chat are. The droid recognized the ship because of its ID signal, I guess. Okay. Yeah. And then I guess maybe Jod and Brutus would have recognized it also based on its ID signal, probably. I think the ships are there to take credits to other planets. The droids don't ask any questions. It's why they have 1139 full vaults, but nobody has come to collect in years. That scene had a "that's why I'm here" Obi-Wan getting the Camino tour vibe. Totally did. It really did. Speaking of which, oh my
Oh yeah,
gosh.
it was a lot like Camino.
Okay, at 1440, I think Icarus was mentioning that after this is while the kids are hearing their parents' message, and we're saying it like starts kind of menacing, but then it goes into the sweet, like parents to the rescue theme, and then it goes like more kind of sinister again. What we hear there at 1440 is which is an awful lot like the mystery theme from the prequels, and also which is also in the Rise of Skywalker, which is like, minor, just kind of minor arpeggio with either, I mean, here it's with a minor sixth. Sorry. It could also be, I guess, with a flat two, would be how it is on Camino exactly. But yeah, felt like a prequel moment unintentionally. I'm sure. It's an armored car, apparently. Master Sifo-Dyas ordered all those credits to pay for the clones. Jordan, welcome, Republic
Yeah.
emissary. Oh, hi, kids. uh, okay. You okay, James?
Yes. Sorry, my internet just like went out at the place I am right now.
James is at an Airbnb in Palm Springs to get out of the fire, our city being on fire. Lord of the Rings music.
What are we
Is that
talking about?
also, we're talking about like how we hear this.
Okay, this is what I was talking about. Where does that
Oh,
happen?
okay. 1440.
What is happening during that part?
The kids are listening to the parents' message, and the parents are like, "The
Okay.
barrier can be very dangerous. Don't tell anyone else where you're from." And it had Camino vibes there.
Yes, yes. Okay, that's what I was thinking of earlier when but it's a little bit like unlimited. It's got a little bit of that quality to it. It's the same
It's after
notes.
that.
Yeah, but
Oh,
I just mean it's like boom bum bum bum. It's got the same. It's kind of like the same pitch set, if you will. You know.
I thought it was. Well, we don't get an octave,
Yeah, but
but
an
it's
octave wouldn't be part of a pitch set, right? Or it would be the same. Like it's
sure. But
You
then
know what I'm
the
saying?
unlimited.
I just mean it's like do ti me do ti. Yeah. It's like that same quality.
Like the shape.
Ba-da-do, da-da-do. Yeah. So like, what is that? Do ti so, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but then just do that. Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See what I'm saying?
Sure. Yeah.
Like if I was going to create a loop texture from that melody, I might arrive on what that loop is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Which is funny because in the unlimited, it sounds like minor. Sorry. Because this is do, but when it goes into the minor arpeggio. Oh, but you do okay. You do starting on la for minor, so I guess it would still. Sorry, is this making sense in the chat?
Yeah, it might go.
Like.
Yeah.
So it goes from a major feel to a minor feel.
It's in the same. Like you could almost call it like the same rag, the same raga.
Sure.
As
Okay.
the other
Yeah.
one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean, it's in the same musical universe as you might describe it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. The arpeggio is both the Star Wars mystery theme and the Lord of the Rings Lothlorien theme, and similar to the X-Files intro. Don't tell anyone where you're from, John. Oops. Yep. Okay, I have one more example. Ostinato. Probably mostly on strings.
I don't remember that.
I don't think it was very
Parents
major.
involved?
Yes. Parents are involved.
Are they in the forest, or where is
They
the
are.
other place that the parents are?
They are in the forest.
Are they running? Is this the relay race of the stun guns,
Is that what's
or the
happening?
stun gun curated relay race? Is what I mean.
Okay, let me go back. It's in that. Yes, yes, and I believe there it's like rest,
Oh, okay.
and then it's like. Yep. So it's just
Yeah, that's
you
a
know.
surprising.
Go ahead.
It's a surprisingly literal description of what's going on in the drama. It's nice. It's like we've got an ongoing thing. We're running, and it's keeps getting interrupted by someone getting stunned, and then we'll pick it up, but it's a little different, and we'll pick it up, and it's a little
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way of looking at it. Laser tag. That's good. I should rename this laser tag.
um,
Uh,
so there was one moment in the episode I thought was really interestingly scored, and I don't know if y'all talked about while I was offline, but
Probably not.
it's a specific. I don't have anything that I can demonstrate it so I can sing it, but there was a spot that was like, "Brown, brown," happening over and over and over again. Does anyone know where that was happening? Actually, I could probably get you the exact pitch if I listen to it again, but
It wasn't the kind of more attack. Like it was a sustained sound.
it is a sustained sound, but it's interrupted or not interrupted, but it's intermittent.
Yeah. Okay. The Tesla stations. What are the Tesla stations? Because I remember a part with an intermittent.
So here's the note.
Oh, the barrier nodes? Is that what you mean by Tesla stations?
Oh,
I don't know. It's just
Like
my
that.
guess.
Happening over and over again.
is Christina right?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just making my guess about what Tesla stations could refer
Tesla
to.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just see if I misremembered.
I'll give you a hint.
Yeah. Yeah. It's after Jod decapitates SM-33.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's a bass playing a low C and it's repeating at intervals, which reminds me of approaching the throne in The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh.
When approaching Sidious's throne, we get like boom, 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 boom. And it's just like the same note and it's just like repeated and it gets faster as they get closer. And I wasn't sure if it got, I thought it was kind of getting faster. It lasted
I
kind
don't
of a
know if it was
long
getting
time.
faster. And I think
Okay.
the one reason why I think to me it didn't strike me as something that would get faster is because I almost think it was an intentional allusion to a specific sound. Or at least that's what it rang for me.
Ah.
To me, it sounds like it's like a light. It sounds like a lightsaber.
It
Like
did. It
sounds,
did.
and
Oh,
it sounds
right.
like vroom, when you have
Uh-huh.
that thing. Just kind of when you see like especially like I don't know if it's like Attack of the Clones or Empire Strikes Back, but there's like a scene where like the lightsaber hum is just kind of cycling like that. And it was like it was turning the lightsaber sound into like a foreboding, because that's what he's doing. He's in that moment. He's got his lightsaber out, and he's like threatening them with it, and it's like this this thing that for Wim was like a symbol of like wanting to be a Jedi is now being threatened and used against him, and which is quite sad. But yeah, I really liked how that was scored. That was a very cool moment. I feel like it seemed intentional, but
That's really cool. I totally hear what you mean, and I think that's a really apt comparison because I mean it's buzzy like the low bass. It has like such a buzz to it, and it's the like envelope of it is like
yes.
like it sounds like it's
Yeah, that,
going like from right to left or like I don't know
and then
actually. I don't.
Jod ends up doing that to them too, like literally swiping at them. Broom, broom, when he was like kind of like doing that to him.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Kind of
Yeah,
that's what
that's
I
good.
took from that moment. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, that is really good.
And he's got a very crackly, like
Yeah.
wide. I want to talk about the filter. Like the filter is definitely like letting in a lot of the highs and not a huge amount of the lows in his lightsaber sound. Like it's got like a poppy crackly sound. It almost sounds like an electrical fire or something like that.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, in chat, tell us your thoughts on Jod's lightsaber sound. What does it remind you of? It's not as like dirty sounding as Kylo
Like
Ren's.
like frying bacon or something like that. You know.
Is that what frying bacon sounds like? I don't
I know
know.
you probably haven't done that in a long time.
I don't
Huh?
know. I've never had bacon in my life.
Oh, really? You've been vegan from the get-go?
No, I've been vegetarian since I was like
Oh, okay.
9, so.
Gotcha. Let's see. It kind of sounds like that. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like it's hasn't been tuned in a while or something. Like I don't know if lightsabers have to be tuned or like tuned up, but it's like a lightsaber that has gone in slight disrepair or something like that. It reminds me of the Uruk High theme from Lord of the Rings for some
Okay.
reason. I don't know what that is.
You know what? I'm hearing a little bit more bass now with my headphones. When I was listening to it earlier, it was on my iPad, and I think some of the lows got filtered out. So now that I'm hearing it, I wouldn't compare it to fried bacon.
Like that's an intense bacon sound.
but it does have. You know what it has? It's got like a purr to it. Like I mean,
Yeah.
obvious. But it sounds like it very much sounds like an animal purr. It sounds like a leopard or something like that. Like a big cat purr.
Justin says rain sound effects in movies is often frying bacon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to this museum in Australia where you could go into the Foley booth. There's like the museum is dedicated to the moving image, so it's like all about movies and stuff. And there's like a Foley booth where you can pick like a scene, and then there's like stations where there's like a bacon frying, there's like hitting a thing. I don't remember what the other ones were, and you do the correct like thing to match on screen. So like there definitely was a bacon frying one. But then I wonder like, so do they record the sound of frying bacon, or do they just have a few good, like, is there a library of bacon being fried? You know, does each Foley artist want to do their own, capture it in their own way with their own nuances? I don't know.
Well, maybe they need to justify their job, so they do it. Did you ever hear about the guy that scores Seinfeld? The contract that he got. That basically, my understanding of the story is that he convinced the network that because Jerry does his monologue at the beginning of every Seinfeld episode, that every episode needs to be scored separately, and you can't just drop the same. Like you can't just drop the same file every week. So he would be like, he's like, no, you gotta hire me to do it because the score has to go with Jerry's monologue, and it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different length every week. So you gotta hire me.
Is it actually recorded different? Oh,
That's my understanding, is that the guy that scored that thing, it's a different version of the opening track every episode, and I think that's a way that he landed a pretty sweet like scoring deal, is that every episode of Seinfeld is separately scored in the beginning. It's not just like drop the theme song on top. Yeah, it's like the most Muzak, it's most like, what's the word, like laboriously scored Muzak in history,
yeah, I should watch that show at some point, probably, or maybe not.
I feel like you would not. I feel like you would just be like, I got to be honest with you. Seinfeld suffers from. I mean, I think they literally call it the Seinfeld effect, which is like it's kind of not. It doesn't hit as funny anymore because it was the prototype for so many tropes and jokes that are now so common, and in many ways maybe potentially even done better in comedy, that when you watch it, you're like, this is just like tropes that like I don't find funny because I've seen this a million times. But it's like the reason why you've seen it a million times is because everybody copied Seinfeld for it. There's also like lots of spots that have not aged well, like in any way, shape, or form. Yeah,
Yeah, that happens in a lot of things. Um, it's an old lightsaber and can't have been well maintained in Renan's Treasure room, true. The base is a slap base sample too. Um, Easier to capture and have lunch than pay for pre-recorded sizzles, perhaps.
That's
Um,
true. There you go.
so
I like bacon for lunch. That's a good idea.
at the end of that scene, I was thinking of James and Justin and the episode of Star Wars Music Minute that we did for the Rise of Skywalker because there was a big string riser and
Yes, I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
yeah, 22:52 to 23. It's like an 8 second string riser, and that's one of the
And
things
that
that
one
we
seemed to
talked
have,
about.
when we were talking about the plug-in of, if everybody
Yeah,
wants to go watch
catch everyone
that,
up to speed on
if
this.
everybody wants to go watch our episode of Rise of Skywalker, Dubstep Lightning,
Yeah,
we talked about how these so many transitional scenes in movies and cinema shows, whatever, end in like a riser or some type of transitional sequence, and like very often it's like strings glistening up and a bunch of them glistening up on different notes and maybe even at different speeds, so it sounds chaotic and it brings you to a big swell. And we're like, oh, what? I wonder if we could just like make a plugin for that, like where you can just like stack whatever you want on top of each other, and then it just creates that for you for that scene instead of having to rewrite that every single time. I have to say, the combination that was put together for this particular moment seems to be like the high strings seem to be glistening upwards in different, but there's like a low chord underneath it that's not moving anywhere, which I thought was
so there's a pedal point.
there's a pedal point, right? Exactly. So which that seems to be like somebody went into the plugin, was like, okay, high strings rise, click, low pedal point. Do you want that on, off? What, you know what I mean? It's like I could almost like see the settings on the plugin for the riser that was created here. You
Well,
know?
are you also hearing timpani there, kind of locking
Yes.
it down with the low E?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one though. It's a pretty good riser.
Yeah, it's a good riser. Yeah, pretty funny.
Yeah. Anyway, do we have any predictions for next week?
Sound wise,
Yeah, sound and music wise.
well, I don't. What opportunity might we have to hear the sea shanty being sung, in full? Like, like we last week were like, hey, are we ever going to hear this thing being like sung with like a score and everything like that? Like, and it seems like they didn't take advantage of that opportunity this week as they were kind of going. I mean, it seems like the tumultuous like journey of getting down to At didn't lend itself to many like seafaring merriment. But
I heard that the sea shanty was Jude Law's idea, actually.
oh, okay, so maybe he just sang it in the moment and it hasn't been scored since then, or
I don't know, because it also sounded, maybe it's just a coincidence that he like knew to improvise with a dies irae, which had been hinted at previous episodes. So I don't know if it was like he improvised it or he wanted to do it, and then maybe it was like written into the score before. I don't know.
I'll say it again. Jude Law did not have to go this hard for this role, and I love that he did. I love that he loved this role so much, so clearly, that he's like, you know what it needs? I need my own song that I sing in this show. This guy could have collected his fat check and just bounced, but instead, we're sitting here, with what we got here.
A theme for the supervisor and Chekhov's giant gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I really want to see Chekhov's giant gun on the school roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to hear it shoot.
I'm guessing in the last episode we'll get, let's see, a dies irae. Yes, what you all are saying is correct.
Probably.
According to Bryce Dallas Howard, it was a poem that he was supposed to read and he wanted to sing. But still, I don't know whether then it could have trickled down into the production of the score or something.
Right.
And like, how did he get the idea for the melody that he picked?
Sometimes when you hear these stories about like somebody improvising something on set that was different than the script, like I'm like, that scene would have sucked if he just read that. Like,
Hmm.
whose idea was him to just read that poem? That would have been so not satisfying. Like, and it would have been awkward. Like, the fact that he sang it is like the best part.
Yeah.
What? Okay, anyway.
Yeah. But then I was also going to say, like, sometimes when we hear these stories, it doesn't capture the entirety of the process
Sure.
behind it.
Right, that makes sense. Yeah, glad. Good on you, Jude.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else is gonna
Dang,
happen?
Jude.
Yeah. So what predictions? Let's see,
And
right?
we really don't think that they have one more episode to prove that they're not a cameo show.
I really want Kim.
I
Again.
mean, what'd you say?
I want Kim to come back.
Oh, right, of course, right?
Yeah.
That's a good point. What the hell? We got to follow up on that. What could happen next semester? What could happen next episode?
Maybe a Final Order Emperor theme theory that the Data Rees are funding his fleet.
Yeah, what would necessitate them having to call Kim back in? I don't
If
know.
she
I
would
don't
have been
know.
tracking them the whole time since then, she could
Oh, she comes
like
with
know what they're up
X-wings.
to, and then yeah, she's like, "Oh,
Right?
great, I put a tracker."
But like again, this brings me to this whole thing. Is like, what is his plan? Like, he doesn't have enough pirates to be like a serious threat to these people on this planet, right? Like, there's not like he's got some giant army that's threatening the whole planet. Like, I just don't. I don't see the. Like, it seems like Jod is very much the underdog in this situation. Like, the kids and the planet don't seem to be of any risk to Jod, in my opinion. But maybe I'm just reading this situation wrong. Like, normally in this situation, like in Mandalorian, like penultimate episode of season 1, you're like, oh no, they've got Grogu. They need to rescue Grogu. The good guys are outnumbered. The bad guys are outnumbered right now. So I just don't, like, you know what I mean? I don't see the stakes. The stakes are not clear to me. What is happening next semester? Next semester. Oh, God. I think this has happened enough times on these streams where I say next semester instead of next episode. I'm just your in residence educator.
I think it's a good point, though, because I don't exactly know what the thing they're trying to solve next episode is.
Yeah.
Like, are they? Do they want to get rid of Jod? Do they want to arrest him?
Right. Like parents are somehow being threatened by Jod, but it's also like, but you're on your own home planet, and he's the only guy, and you're surrounded by droids that are hypothetically on the parents' side, and I don't see the stakes here. I'm not seeing the stakes of what could go wrong. Like, all they have to go is, okay, droids, kill him, please. You know, right?
I think the biggest buildup here is finding out about the supervisor. That's the most closely kept secret we have so far, I think. And did you say that Stephen Fry is playing the supervisor, James?
Yeah.
So I feel like if they got Stephen Fry to play the supervisor, that also like implies that that it's a somewhat noteworthy character.
Huh.
Unless Stephen Fry is actually such a big Star Wars fan that he begged to be a part of it. Which he could be. Which he could be. Sorry, I shouldn't say it in a pessimist way. But yeah, I think it has to do with that. I also think the build-up, like there's also just the bigger picture of bursting the At-Atom bubble and sort of Wim's dream of not having to grow up to be another analyst, and Fern's dream also to not grow up. Like, I think Fern's down to be an overachiever, but she doesn't want to be an overachiever at analyzing and supervising. She wants to be an overachiever at racing and adventuring and that kind of thing. And that's just kind of the only thing you're not allowed to do. That whole sector of life is not a part of At-Atom. So I think there's something like that. The spirit of adventure awakening in the planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Here, let me Let me take a screenshot of.
Justin just dropped some stuff that
Okay,
is
let
like,
me. Okay, wait. Let me just read in order. There will be a triumphant and sad main theme moment of Jod saying goodbye to the kids after saving them, but not redeemed as he is arrested with a wink, wink. With an end credit. Wait, there's more. With an end credit scene of Jod escaping into season 2. I think Jod will continue his path into evil, which I wonder how that will be themed and if they bring back any Sith-based themes. It's a good question. I really like Icarus's idea. At the end, Thrawn comes to the rescue and joins Neil, forming Team Blue. And
Yes.
then Thrawn and Neil go to a Max Rebo concert and form a band.
Oh, yeah.
Justin has I think, potentially like correct guess in my opinion.
Okay. Kim shows the X-Wings how to get to At-Aten. I think that's possible. The planet isn't well armed beyond the roof gun.
Beyond the roof gun.
They have the barrier, and that's it. If the pirate ship gets through the barrier, I think they could do some damage. And then Supervisor is Rened.
That's kind of a great call.
If he has a long lifespan, what is his species?
I don't think it's named.
As long as it's a species that you can be a couple hundred years old after already being the most famous pirate in the galaxy. So several hundred years old, which is possible, or descendants of Rened as well.
Okay, so it'll be a Rened.
I love the idea of Stephen Fry being the supervisor, being Tack Rened. That's great.
Yeah, being
That makes me
the
really
pirate,
happy.
or almost like a Heart of Darkness kind of like Apocalypse Now situation, where like go down this whole journey to go there, and it's actually the pirate captain is now like he's just, instead of like taking the treasure with him, he's just lost his mind and he's like running this vault planet himself, you know. I mean, yeah. I think maybe that for me, that what's confusing is because of the little they've told us about At-Aten and like what the situation is, which makes this particular situation that we're in right now confusing about the stakes. Like I don't know what kind of defensive infrastructure At-Aten has, so I don't know how much danger Jod is in right now, you know. So that it doesn't make it clear for me like how worried I should be about these parents. I guess they've left it on cliffhanger as if I should be worried. Like Jod could kill the parents right there, but then my first thing that goes to my brain is isn't he just gonna get arrested if he does that? You know. But
He'll get stunned by a stun gun.
Right? Yeah, I mean the parents couldn't even send a freaking telegram in the woods without getting zapped by the cops, you know. So how is Jod going to just like kill people like in broad daylight without being zapped? You know,
Yeah, maybe he'll be humbled or something. We have some good ideas in the chat. The kids need to meet Jason and Chopper. I think the supervisor is going to be a pre-recorded or a droid. That's why the planet has just been going through the motions, churning out credits for centuries. I would call the band Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Elephant Tooth Fairies. That's really good.
So, well, somebody should tell Tack Rennet about what inflation is. Like you can't just print credits; they become less valuable every time you do that. But anyway.
Yeah, if the pirates destroy parts of the barrier and makes it part of the wilder world of the Republic, it really changes things, especially considering one of the smaller planets fell into civil war. Yeah. But I'm still also not convinced that the pirates are like a formidable enough enemy, or you know that they would be able to do that. They haven't really shown the pirates to be like mastermind scheming, like trying to actually figure stuff out. Opening At-Aten to the galaxy would crash the economy. Yeah, many considerations. Here's the
What
list.
sector is that at? Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was
Do we
just
know?
putting up the list of themes that I have
Is,
notated.
it- is this
What?
in your folder? Did you organize
Wow.
this?
Yeah, I have a whole like
Complimenti. Bravo.
what?
Nothing.
Che cool.
Nothing.
uh,
Nothing. You know that you're other than the person that other than Mick Giacchino, how do you ever pronounce his last name is? You know you're the only person on planet Earth that has this information organized.
um, so I'm looking at this list, thinking of what would I like to appear in the finale, and I would like some sort of fern theme to come back. I would like the theremin to come back. I would like I would like the parents to the rescue theme, and I would like some Dies Irae, some shanty, and some of that force, uh, you know, Jod the force user music. That'd be good. What I really want is the violin thing for the rat, but I don't think we're gonna get that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Ratting.
Continue,
Um,
Christina. I cut you off with my themes.
Ah. Oh, I was just wondering what sector of the galaxy Aten is in, and therefore
right.
in the context of what other planets are near it and what, wars and things are going on in the vicinity. But we don't know yet.
We
Well, it's in
don't
Sector
know.
A113 in Grid Square
Oh, we do
N6.
know. Very good. I'm going to look that up and I'll think about it.
Yeah, I can't believe there was a time in my life where I thought I was going to start collecting like a map of the Star Wars galaxy, universe, and make my whole like hallway wall that. This was an idea I had at one point, but like new things are added so quickly that I simply don't think I can do that anymore. I don't think I would be able to stay remotely on top of it, but I did think it would be cool to be able to
Oh.
like visually have all the planets kind of like in my hallway so that I could, when I walk by them, I can casually get to know the map, become increasingly more familiar with the geography of the universe. Maybe even write in the additions. But I don't know.
I frequently consider purchasing a Star Wars galactic map, but it's also true that in the different time periods, they call things kind of different things sometimes.
Yeah,
And yeah,
then
I
I'll
mean,
be
that's why
like,
Navdroids are so priceless, is because they're constantly updating
mm-hmm.
uh, data.
Yeah, so someone
We don't
comes
have
over
Navdroids.
and is like, your map is wrong. I could be like, well, it's a vintage map from the year 2021. Lots of things have changed since then. Icarus, Kim's Observatory, or as I call it, the Owl House. That's really good. Thank you, Justin. The Atlantis joke was good. We want it to be Aten, not Atlantis. I don't think Jod is a trained fighter with the saber, so a bigger force of droids would be a problem. Maybe. Hondo flew a UFO-shaped ship, so there's your theremin. Anyway, I don't want to say goodbye until James is back, but I think that's about all we have for this week. Next week will be our final stream for the final episode here. Xanthi's time on the Finesman's Keeper has changed them. Yes, it's a reference to our Star Wars RPG campaign. And we might do an in-person on Tuesday night stream, or we might not. I don't think we have amongst ourselves confirmed what the plan is yet. But try to just look on the Star Wars Music Minute YouTube page, YouTube channel, to see what stream has been scheduled. And I'll post about it on social media. I don't think James is coming back. So
Ah,
let's
I
see
will
if I have
try to
any.
be both myself and James.
Thank you. Also, for those who follow the normal podcast episodes of this show, Rise of Skywalker, episode 29, or sorry, episode 28, will not be coming out on Monday. We're skipping a week because guests and editor of the show have been scheduling stuff impacted by fires, no power to do stuff. So the production chain is a little bit halted, but hopefully I'll only have to skip 1 week. So sorry about that, but the last episode that came out on Monday with Frank Lehman was quite a juicy, meaty episode. So yeah, this is extra time to digest or catch up with that one. And with that, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you can join us next week. It's fun reading all what you have to say in the chat. And Christina, do you have any final words?
I do not, other than sorry that I was less prepared this week. I
No,
also am in that
you were
not
perfect.
evacuated, but half packed for evacuation constantly.
Yeah, it's a rough time.
Not ideal.
It's a rough time right now. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone. Talk to you next week.